I wonder if I even still have an audience. It's been that long since I've recorded. Hi everybody, I'm Lisa. This is the Stop Drop and Knit podcast. And we're just going to jump in because it has been forever since I've recorded, and if I don't just start filming now, I'm just going to overthink it and become overwhelmed, and yeah, so we're just going to go. It's Rhinebeck weekend. I am not at Rhinebeck, so for all of you who are not at Rhinebeck with me, I thought I'd record a little episode for you because it's just been a long time. So hopefully everybody who is at Rhinebeck this weekend is having a blast. I finally have my knitting mojo back after what honestly feels like a few years, but yeah, it's been ebbing and flowing, and right now we're going. It's here. It is fall. I am here for the knitting again. So I'm out of practice because I have not been doing this very regularly. So I'm hoping if I just record a few shorter videos and don't do my whole normal like segmented spiel that I tend to do that lasts like an hour and a half, we're gonna just do more natural today because yeah, if I don't just get started doing this again, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna just continue to overthink everything and be overwhelmed at the thought of recording, and I just really want to share my knitting because, as I said, my knitting mojo has finally returned, and I have been doing some MusiKALs, some mystery knit-alongs, and so I thought today I would share my progress on the MusiKAL, Stephen West's mystery knit-along. How could I not take part in the MusiKAL one, right? But don't turn your cameras off yet if you don't want spoilers, because I've got a couple other things that I will share first before we get into all of the secret clue reveal stuff. Also, I am late to the party with this one, but I am doing the mystery Gnome-along, the Gnumpkin and Gnettle along that Sarah from Imagined Landscapes is doing, and that is also so much fun. So I've been pretty monogamous with those two projects, but since we're going to talk about the make-along today, the mystery make-alongs, I dug out the two previous Stephen West MusiKAL shawls that I have made. They were from years ago, but one of them you have seen in all of its glory before, my Shawlography. So I'm going to show you guys that. And then the other one, finally, after 3 years, has just been finished. So yeah, I've been pretty monogamous with my knitting. I've really enjoyed the focus of just one thing, one main thing on my needles before, and really returning to my old projects to finish them little by little. So I'm not going to share everything today that I've been working on because it's been like so many months, I think since early summer, May or June or something, that we would be here all day, and I'm not going to share spinning or any of the normal stuff. I'm just going to be talking about my Stephen West shawls, the current knit-along, and the Gnome-along. So if any of that interests you, then I hope you'll stick around and catch up with me. So first things first, let's start with Shawlography, because this was the first one that I ever did. And this was very early in my podcasting journey. I think this one must have been the 2021 MusiKAL. And on a spur of a moment, I joined the knit-along, and I remember that I used a gradient kit that I had in my stash from Sweet Georgia, and I love this shawl so much. Seriously, this is one of my favorite things that I have ever made. So it's not gonna all fit on the screen, but yeah, I can't remember enough about all the different sections to tell you about it, but seriously, I've got so many older podcasts that if you really wanted to learn about my process in this shawl, you could just go back and watch those. I think they'll be pretty easy to find because I think I've got thumbnail pictures with the shawl and stuff. But yeah, it's glorious. I love this thing. And you know, this one, I think one of the big reasons I love it so much is because it's all of my favorite colors in a gradient. And so no matter what the design turned out to be, I knew I was gonna love it. I wear this all the time. I have no idea how I wear it. I just kind of wrap it up like a blanket usually, but I think it's just so pretty. And so this was the first make-along of any kind that I ever did, mystery or not mystery. It's like the only MusiKAL that I had ever participated in up to that point. So this one is a favorite. My thing with Stephen West mystery knit-alongs is to make sure you love your colors. I maintain that if you are in love with your color palette and all the colors work really well together, then whatever craziness in construction that he throws at you and the different design elements, if you like your color palette and your color palette is very cohesive, the finished object is most likely going to be something that you love and will wear very much. So I see a lot of people in the knit-alongs that are always really unsure of their colors, whether they buy a kit or usually it's like a kit that they bought, like they fell in love with the kit or they just didn't know what to use, so they just go with a kit to make life easy. And then, I don't know, something about it just doesn't tend to resonate with them. And so they're always like, I don't know about my colors and I don't know if I like it. So always, always, always just have a cohesive color palette, and whatever the shawl ends up looking like, then you'll be good to go, I think. So that was my Shawlography. This next one is super exciting because, as I said, this was twists and turns, and I haven't even taken pictures of it yet since I blocked it. Like, I haven't even wrapped this around myself yet. It's been hot and it's only just starting to properly feel like fall right now. But this took 3 years for me to get off the needles. And I'm gonna hold it up for you. Also, I love my color palette. I haven't seen this on camera yet or anything. I have no idea how I'm gonna wear this. The process of knitting this one, I don't know how people finished this in the 4 weeks. Like, people that stay on top of the clues. I think Shawlography, I didn't manage to keep up with the clues, but I did finish that one, I remember, in January, so October, so about 3 months for Shawlography. So that one was 3 months. This one was 3 years. But I really love how it turned out. I didn't make any modifications. I had been like, I think when I picked it up again this summer, I had still like this whole, like I had the purple strip here, but I had the whole short row stripe section to go. And then I still had this whole bottom section to put on. And it just took forever. And Oh, it got a fuzzy on it. So yeah, I don't know, like probably I tend to just kind of stick it on in the center and wrap it around. I have no idea. Like, I'm gonna take this outside after I record, and I'm gonna try to get some actual photos of it, because I have not even played around with it yet. But like, this thing is gigantic. I think some people, like the wingspan of this thing is insane. I don't even know where the center of it is. It must be there. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could just kind of like slip it around and have it draping that way and wrap it like, yeah, I have no idea. I like it. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy that it's finished. And oh, the yarn that I used for this one, also not a kit. I was a brand ambassador for Wonderland Yarns at the time that I started knitting on this one. So I reached out to them and they helped me it was totally last minute. I said, hey, I want to do this knit along, this make along, and what do you have ready to go? Because they usually, like, you have to put in your order and then they dye to the order. So I just saw what they had in-house in stock and what they could just send right away. And I didn't dig out the yarns or the labels or anything, but it was this beautiful, like, dark brown, beautiful fuchsia for my accent color, and then the contrasting color, I'll hold up this section here, has little speckles in it. So again, like, do I love the design? I mean, it's very festive, like Halloween-y, but I love certain elements of it. If I had chosen different colors though, I wouldn't love it. But because of the colors that I chose for this, I am really happy with how it turned out. And yeah, once I figure out how I'm gonna wear it, whether I'm just gonna do one of these or put it on from behind and figure out how it all is gonna work, then yeah, I'll have a better idea. But I think, you know, when you wrap these things around, they all just seem to work. So yeah, this one was definitely a long slog, and I'm so glad that it's done and off of my needles. And getting this one done like a couple weeks ago felt like the biggest accomplishment of not really my life, but just felt like this huge, not even like huge weight off my shoulders, but just like this monumental project was just finally done. It's not a UFO anymore. It's not a whip. It is a finished object, and I really wanted to be able to wear it this fall. And I also was having the feeling that I wanted to take part in the MusiKAL this year. So this was from 2022. And so I said to myself, I said, you're gonna finish this. You're gonna get it done before, what it was, at October 2nd or whenever the MusiKAL started, the MusiKAL. So yeah, so I did it. I set that goal for myself, and I was very monogamous with it. Like, I wasn't working on a lot of things. I just said, okay, I'm gonna get this done. And it feels so good to have it now. Those are the 2 shawls that I have completed from Steve & West. The only 2 shawls of Steve & West that I have ever made. I do have a 3rd one that is still in progress that I had cast on at the same time as the Mystery Twists and Turns Knit-along. But that one is not yet done. You've seen it here a lot. I'm not going to share that today because I don't want to be here forever. I just want to get back into the swing of chatting with you guys about my knitting. Okay, so MusiKAL. This is where I'm gonna, well, I'll show you my colors first. So if you guys don't want to see the spoilers or anything, I mean, we're in clue 3 now. So chances are that anybody who is participating in it has already seen everything that I'm going to show. because I haven't started anything from Clue 3. So unless you've signed up for the MusiKAL and just are behind and not even having looked at Clue 2 yet or anything like that, you should be good to go. But just in case, we'll start with my colors. This one is my first shawl that is not using any purple. So longtime viewers, you guys all know that purple is my absolute favorite color. So when in doubt, do something with purple and I know I'm gonna like it. But this year, I had just released my Halloween 2025 collection for Stop Drop and Knit Fiber Co. And I was really excited about it and I really, really wanted to use it. And so I decided to use it for this. And you know, it's funny seeing it in the make along is not necessarily how I would have envisioned me maybe using these yarns, but it's really fun and it's really cool. And I'm glad I'm using it. And these were all made with flowers. These were all dyed with my Cosmo, my Sulfur Cosmo flowers. I will insert some pictures of my garden. They're pretty much all gone to seed now. I think I have a few blooms out there that I need to go and collect that maybe I can dehydrate and do something with them. But for the most part, I think they're done now. But boy, oh boy, did I have an amazing season with the Cosmos in my garden. So the other material, I only used 2 materials for these yarns. The other one was sumac leaves, okay, which I had foraged like a year ago and they had been sitting in my freezer. And yeah, so let me show you my yarns. So this is my Halloween collection. And yeah, I'm just in love with it. It is so seasonally perfect. And so the grays here, this is also the first time I've tried any dyeing on mohair. And this other gray, this is a new base in my shop. These are both new bases, actually, the Kid Silk mohair. And then this one is a merino mohair, and it's actually a sock yarn, but instead of nylon content, we have the mohair to give it the strength and the durability that usually is what the nylon is provided. But this time all natural materials and no man-made materials. So that's really exciting. So this is, I think, it's not black. It's a very, very dark gray. And this is, I think, the deepest gray that I have managed to get with a natural material foraged. And you can see, I don't know if this particular skein, maybe this one does, but there were even some sections in this bundle dyed one where there are actually, it is actually black, but mostly gray. But it was so exciting. And so so these are obviously just solid sumac leaves. And the reason this one is so much lighter is because the silk content in this just absorbs the dye differently. So it has a nice sheen to it. This one, so these are in my shop right now if you guys are interested. StopDropAndKnit.com. Stop Drop and Knit Fiber Co, but it's StopDropAndKnit.com. And this one is called Black Widow, and this one is called Spiderweb. So that's the colors of these. And then this one is called Trick or Treat, and this one is called Jack-o'-lantern. And I wanted to just talk about the process that I used to get the colors this way. This summer I did a lot of solar dyeing because I was off teaching music teaching flute in the woods at summer camp for 8 weeks. And I did not have a lot of time to keep up with my dyeing. So solar dyeing came to my rescue, and solar dyeing is great because you take your mordanted yarn and you take your flowers and you stick them in a jar, like a mason jar, and then you fill it with water, and then you leave them out in the sun. And I think I left these for a week, and it's just gorgeous. So you get this natural variegated color because the darker spots, the more saturated parts, are where the flowers were really in direct contact with the yarn, and the lighter parts not so much in contact with the yarn. So they had different levels of absorption, and it's just so beautiful. And the saturation that I got from these flowers just was amazing. And then, so that was the process I used for Jack-o'-lantern. And then Trick or Treat, this yarn was bundle dyed. So what I did for that is you take the mordanted yarn and I spread it out, and I dumped a whole bunch of my flowers on top of it, and then I wrapped it up and tied it with crochet thread into a ball. I can insert some pictures. And what I did then was in an immersion bath, these bundle dyes, I did an immersion bath into sumac leaves, and that just makes it like, it's a very heavy tannin, so it's not really a color on its own, but the dark gray and black shades from the sumac leaves happen when you then do an after bath in iron water. And so that was what I did. And then, so these bundles on the outside were completely black or really dark charcoal gray. And then though, when you undid them, you had all of the different sections here. So I can kind of like, can see a little bit, you know, how it looks. And I'll show you these, I'll show you what it looks like caked up too, and then I'll reveal clues 1 and 2 of my musical shawl, MusiKAL knit-along shawl. So that's that one. Okay, in the cakes we had, well, the spider web in the cake, that's just pretty, you know, it's my kid silk mohair, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then this is Black Widow caked up. This is how Trick or Treat looks caked up. Super fun. And I have a friend, a customer, who is holding Trick or Treat and Spiderweb together. And she is turning a skein of each of these together into Andrea Mowry's jaunty shawl. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. She had sent me a picture, but then she messaged me and said that she didn't correctly read the instructions of the pattern, and so she had to frog it and start again. So I'm still waiting for pictures from her. So maybe I'll message her later and see if she's got one that she can send me if she has started knitting it up again. But yeah, I think that these two held together. So that would be Spiderweb and Trick or Treat. It would be really fun. And then, let's see. Oh, this one is not in my shop, but I had it in my stash. It is also dyed with sumac, but it's a lighter shade. I think I dyed, like, the dark one was with sumac leaves and iron, and the lighter one was the berries, the sumac berries and iron. So these are my contrasting colors. So this is my color A. This one is my color B. So both with sumac. Plus then I have the mohair that I'm holding with the color B in the shawl. And then, so I'm gonna, Yeah, I always drop things on the Stop Dropping It podcast. We drop a lot of things. So I'm going to put those down. And we've got Trick or Treat is my color D. My color C is the bright pop of color. And then I also had solar dyed just to see. I had done just one. So I don't have the mohair in the jack-o'-lantern in my shop. I'm sorry about that. But I just had one and I decided to hold that mohair there. So I've got, let me, hold on. See if I can get these all together in the frame. I'm telling you, we are doing a very casual episode today. I just need to record and get it out there. All right, so we've got A, B, C, and D. Let's see if I can get these. Wow. This is ridiculous. I must look completely ridiculous, but here we go. A, B. How can I do this on camera without dropping everything? I'm gonna get this. We're gonna do this. All right. All right, we've got A, B, B, and then I'm gonna put D on the bottom. We'll go in a circle. We're gonna do this. No, no. Ugh. We'll do it without the mohairs. A, B. All right, here we go. A, B, C, and D. So A is the dark gray, B is the light gray, C is jack-o'-lantern, and then D is the variegated. So most people are not using a variegated yarn for this shawl, but I am because I wanted to, and I just wanted to. And I think it's looking pretty good. I want to see if I can get all of these together. Maybe for like half a second. I did it. I did it. There we go. Okay, so this is my color palette. These are my colors for MusiKAL. So that's what we've got. I'm gonna put these down. All right. So I'm about to get the shawl. So this is where, if you don't want to see it, skip ahead. And in the next segment that I have, I will show you the yarns again that I'm using before I do the reveal of the Gnettle and Gnumpkin, or the Gnumpkin and Gnettle. Okay, that was actually great timing. My camera stopped recording, so yeah, so I just reset it. So yeah, so skip ahead if you don't want to see this, and then come back with me for the next segment. Here we go. I don't know which direction to hold this, so we're gonna go with this way. We're gonna go with this way. So here it is. This is what I've got so far. That's just holding stitches, that big strip of yarn there, waste yarn. All right, there we go. That's out of the way. Yeah. So this is what we've got. I am, I'm just embracing knitting for Halloween right now. I wanted to use my Halloween yarns. I wanted to have something outside of my normal color palette for this season. And I have like a bunch of gray tops, so this is gonna look really great wrapped around a gray top. So, all right, let's talk about this. Clue 1 was, I'm gonna try to fold this up. Clue 1 was super annoying to knit. It was so annoying, oh my gosh. But yeah, if I never see another welt in my life, which won't happen, yeah, we're good. We're good now. I had it done on time. So basically, I've been keeping on track with the clues. Basically, I finished Clue 1 a little bit later in the day that Clue 2 came out, and I did the same thing with Clue 2. I finished on Thursday, like late afternoon, and the clue had just been out for a few hours. So I've not yet started knitting on clue 3 because I wanted to show it first. I meant to record last week and show you guys clue 1 first, but I love my clue 1. I love the look of it. So there are 6 of these scallops, and let's see if we can get them in view here. So we started with this one down here, and then so you knit 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. And it was a whole like mess of needles. And let me tell you, hang on one sec, I was so grateful for these little hedgehog friends. These are from Fox and Pine. These are stitch stoppers, and these are so cute. These little helpful hedgehogs saved my life for this scallop clue here. Oh my gosh. I had one disaster early on with scallop number 2. And so what happens is you start with this little tiny like garter stitch tab at the bottom, and then you do a welt, and I held the mohair with my welt, and then the next little section is this brioche section, and color C is really prominent on the wrong side in this clue. And then my variegated yarn, my trick or treat yarn, is this eyelet section here. And so yeah, it's pretty subtle in this clue. The variegation of the yarn is really subtle, and I like that. The wrong side of this clue 1 looks like this. So you can see like you've got the back of the brioche super bright on that side, but that's the wrong side. So this started out like super subtle, and I love that. So again, you know, like if you're not sure of your colors and how they're going to play together, like I kind of went with like a gray gradient, and then I just have this like one crazy pop of bright orange color, and I'm really happy with how it works out because nothing's clashing together. But the one mishap I had was, I think it was the second scallop. I had started scallop 3. Yeah, I had started scallop 3, and I was like at the brioche section. And when the brioche is fine, no problems with that. But the way this was like the most fiddly with the needles and the most awkward knit probably that I've done in a very long time. The way that you are holding for like the welt, maybe it's like the welt section, like after, I think that's what it was. The brioche section was fine, but the welt following it, so you're carrying 3 stitches on the one side the whole time, and you're just have those 3 stitches hanging out on a needle. And then on this side, you just had 1, and then you'd go back and you would like slip the knit stitches together, connecting to the other scallop. But like for the whole time you're knitting the welt following the brioche section, you've just got like these 1, and I guess it's every welt. You just have either like 3 stitches hanging out or 1 stitch hanging out. So what I did is I finally put little stitch markers around those stitches, because my mishap happened when the 1 stitch, I went to like turn my project and the needle fell out of my hand, and that 1 stitch that needle was holding dropped all the way down, and the brioche ended up coming undone from the previous scallop. So not only did I have to frog like all of scallop 3, but I had to like do the tail end of scallop 2 all over again, because I tried, but I just could not figure out how to salvage it with like the edge, and because you're picking up stitches from the one scallop. So it's like not just one little piece that you're knitting on, but it was the connecting of the two things in the brioche, in the slips. It was a mess. And so from that point, I got my little hedgehogs, and I got some little stitch markers, the light bulb ones, where I could just like clip them in there so that even if the stitch fell off the needles, the stitch stopper or the stitch holder was at least not going to allow it to unravel. So if you've not knit this yet, that is like my big takeaway tip. The welts were annoying because after knitting the welt strip, you had to like flip it to the wrong side and then pick up these like a million stitches to like fold the fabric and connect it to itself. I just hated doing it. Oh, you could see I had one little drop stitch. So I have I don't know how it happened, but I have a stitch that didn't end up connecting. So I've got to fix that. Stuck a little sheep in there. But, yeah. So that was clue 1. Clue 2 was amazing to knit. I loved clue 2. It was so much fun. It was these squiggles, and so you've got short rows, so you can see like the squiggles are really thin, and then the way that you're knitting the short rows, the squiggles get much wider. So then you've got this asymmetrical shape. And so, yeah. So that was so much fun. I used clue C, held with the mohair, so the jack-o'-lantern held with the mohair for this eyelet section. I mean, this almost looks like it was crocheted, but it was not. It was knit. But the way that all these eyelets are, and yeah, it's amazing. It has like a crocheted feel to it. The only thing that was annoying about knitting the eyelet section was that when you were making a stitch, an extra stitch, if you did that too tightly, then on the following row when you had to knit those together, it could be very tight. So I quickly learned to do my make one stitches loosely so that it didn't drive me crazy, because we had, what was it, 7 or 8, I think 8 eyelet squiggles, so there were 9. Yeah. So, and I just did everything in the order that he recommended. I didn't change around my colors or anything. So it was like ADB, yeah, ADB, ADB. So yeah, so ADB, ADB, ADB with C in between. So clue 3, I know, is going to be picked up along this edge. I have looked at it. I'm really excited to knit it and see how that turns out. Yeah, so I think, I have no idea, like, we have all of these stitches on hold right now, so I'm sure that there's some kind of border situation that is going to happen with the gazillion hundreds of stitches that are up here. So that'll be fun. But yeah, next we're picking up along this edge over here, and we're building out this way. And now that I've showed it to you, I feel like I can actually get knitting on it. So it's Saturday today, so I've been waiting a little bit. But I'm really happy. I love how the yarns are knitting up. I love how they feel. I think this is going to be really fun to wear this Halloween season, and just something completely different from my normal situation. No purple on this one. All right, so I'm gonna pause for a second. I do need to check the time because I have to pick Owen up at the library at 3:30. So I just want to make sure, because of course I'm just talking and it's going. So I just want to make sure I'm not going to be late. So hang on. Okay, perfect. So I've got about 20 minutes. I feel good about getting this done, because there's only like one more thing I want to share with you guys. Okay, so I'm not going to show you guys yet, but if you have skipped the Make Along, the MusiKAL reveal, I am just gonna show you now the yarns that I am using for my Gnumpkin and Gnettle-along, which is in this cute little project bag. I got it from Etsy. Inga from Knitting Traditions had been gifted one, and I loved it because obviously the mushroom is so cute. So I bought that. No idea who the maker is or anything. If you guys want to know, let me know and I will dig out that information. Okay, so I have one other little shop update, which actually they're not live in the shop yet, but they're listed. I just have to set the listings to active. And I have two similar but different Miniskein sets in the shop, using a whole bunch of materials that I dyed all this yarn like with stuff from last summer. So I'll show you the yarns separately, but basically all of the orange shades last summer, my Coreopsis flowers went insane, and so the oranges are from Coreopsis. The bright green that's in there, I'll show you the Miniskein separately. I just twisted them all together because it's just easier to store them this way. So yeah, so let me show you. So this is the one that I'm using for the Gnumpkin and Gnettle-along, the mystery Gnome-along, which I've never done the Gnome-along before. I'm so excited about it. You know, I had all of these little mini skeins that I put together, and I'm always, you know, searching for projects to use the mini skeins. I mean, they're great in color work. You can make socks. This is 7 mini skeins, so you could make a whole pair of socks and more because it's like 140 grams of yarn. So separately, I had, let's see if I can get like the 7 colors in there. This is what they look like separately. Try to get them in some kind of semblance of an order here. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. So this is how they are separately. I just think they're so beautiful together. It's like a really, really very fall colors. Fall colors dyed with summer plants and things. So, but I'm always looking for things to use the mini skeins for. They're great, you know, for like, I was thinking maybe even those doodle shawls and hats and whatever that Jamie, she does the doodle stuff. I think her name is Jamie. I have her book, and so yeah, I'll find that. So I might try to find a project like that. But yeah, so this is the one I'm using for my Gnumpkin and Gnettle-along. I thought these would be perfect. These 3 shades of orange all came from the Coreopsis flowers that I grew last summer. This is just like a little gradient that I created from exhausting the dye bath. And then this brown, obviously, I mean, these speak like, it speaks kind of like pumpkin spice latte together to me. But this brown one is so pretty. This was from a powdered ruffle lichen that I did. And, you know, with the lichens, I only have enough to dye either like 5 mini skeins or 1 larger skein. So that's why I put them in all of these sock sets sometimes, because otherwise, like, it's either going to be a single full skein, or at least I can spread it out and share the color with more people if I put it in a set. And then this one is this beautiful bright greenish yellow. It's a green. This was from Queen Anne's Lace flowers. So this is something that I dyed up, you know, over a year ago, like in August 24, I guess. And so, you know, I just thought like, oh, these looked amazing together. And then again with the gray, this one is sumac. I guess sumac berries probably. And then this is kind of like a weird one. This was like a lichen, but also over dyed with goldenrod and dipped in iron. So this is like a couple different situations that were going on here. But I just thought that, you know, together they just look so beautiful. And so the way that the Gnumpkin and Gnettle knit-along works is that you just use 3 mini skeins, 20 grams each. And there's pattern for both, for Gnumpkin, which is like a pumpkin themed gnome, and then Gnettle is a witch themed gnome. So I've started Gnumpkin, and I'll show you those in a little bit. But basically you have to choose 3 different colors, and she recommended like a pumpkin-y one and then one for like skin. And so I'm using these 3 colors for the Gnumpkin gnome. So super, super pumpkin-y, and I can't wait to show you what they look like. But those are the 3 I'm using for Gnumpkin. And then I'm not sure, I've got these other 4. I don't think I'm going to use the orange one in Gnettle. I think I'm just going to go with, just go with these 3 and do a more witchy one and use one of these greens for the pumpkin-y gourd part of the gnome. And then like the witchy accessory with the gray. So I think these are going to be the 3 that I use for Gnettle. So I'll have Gnumpkin and Gnettle, and then just like a leftover in between orange. But so I haven't, I mean, I don't know. I could also use these 3 for Gnettle. So I just haven't decided exactly what kind of witchy color scheme I wanted for her. But the pumpkin-y one is definitely, I've been using these 3. So I'm really excited about that. So this is the set I'm using for Gnumpkin and Gnettle. So I think I was held up like trying to figure out what to name the Miniskein sets. So I'm just going to call this one Gnumpkin and Gnettle when I list it in the shop. And by the time you see this, it will be in the shop. So you guys can, if you like that, check it out. And then this is really, really similar to this one. So they're super similar. Some of the skeins are, you know, it's like the same, some of the same materials, but slightly different shades. So the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So these are the 7 in this one. These I think are softer, like a little bit of a more pale fall color scheme. I think these are beautiful. And so I haven't decided what I'm gonna use. I feel like I want to use these either in some color work, maybe I'll do like a doodle project, or just like some kind of stripy fall socks. This would be really, really pretty in too. But this was also, so the brown and this cream were also from that powdered ruffle lichen. These were like, this was the exhaust bath, so the darker one from the other set. These are almost exactly the same, but you can see there's like a little gradient there. So these 2 are from that. This one I think was Autumn Leaves from like a long time ago. I just thought it looked nice with the colors. This light green is the exhaust bath actually from the Queen Anne's lace. So you can see it's like, they're the same, but it's just like a really much softer version. And then again, these other two oranges were also from the Coreopsis flowers. You've got a darker one and then a medium one. It's not as light as in the other set. And then this yellow I thought looked nice in there too. And the yellow is mulberry leaves. So it's a different tone than the Queen Anne's lace, but like a similar feel. So yeah, the 7 for this set So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna name this one, but these are the only two fall sets that I have in there. And so that's what they look like. I just think they're so beautiful together. It'd be such a nice pair of socks, or for some color work. You could knit the gnomes in the lighter colors too. But so yeah, so those are the two sock sets, or Miniskein sets, I should say. Each of them has 7 20-gram Miniskeins and a total of 140 yards of sock weight yarn. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the start to my Gnumpkin. I'm so excited. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. I want to knit all the gnomes now, especially with all the foraging that I do out in the forest. Like, I'm so excited to find the mini skeins are perfect for the gnomes, because I have a lot of mini skeins because I do a lot of small batch dyeing with the natural materials. I can, as I was saying for the lichen, like I can really only get 1, maybe 2 like full gram skeins of some of these more precious materials like mushrooms and things like that. So I have a lot of mini skein sets, and I'm so excited to find like these gnomes that use the mini skeins, and yeah, it's perfect. So I see a lot of gnomes in my future. Okay, so if you guys don't want the spoiler alerts, this is where you've got to look away, and I'll just say goodbye and thanks for joining me, because after I show these, I have to go pick up Owen. I believe he's in middle school now. When I started this podcast, he was in 1st grade 5 years ago, and now he's in middle school. Craziness. All right, here we go. This is, so I'm going to knit both of them, but I've only started Gnumpkin, the pumpkin one. So look away if you don't want to see, but if you want to see the cuteness, you guys, I've got 2 little gnome legs. Look at these. And try to like block out my face here. Look at how cute these are. Do you see those little feet? It's so adorable. So that was clue 1. And then I just finished clues 2 and 3 were the next piece. And it's not blocked. She says to block it, but this is through clue 3. It's this little pumpkin stem hat. So we've got like basically a hat, and that's basically holding stitches for the next clue. But we've got like a gnome hat and some legs, and I already know what like the next part looks like. It's like a pumpkin that sits in the middle, and so obviously that's going to be done with my Coreopsis, my orange yarn. But look how cute these are. This is so cute. So I'm really excited about this. I'm so glad that I'm showing it here so that I can get on with it. I am way behind. Like, I'm not like way behind because I've just been knitting, but I decided to do the make along very late in the game. And so yeah, I didn't dye the yarn with, like, there are a bunch of dyers that made Miniskein sets specifically for the Gnumpkin and Gnettle-along, and I didn't do that, but I had my fall sets, and I was like, oh my gosh, how perfect for a pumpkin themed gnome would this set be? So she just did like so many interesting techniques to get the like pinched effect of like scrunching up the stem. So I'm supposed to block it with like some, I don't know, plastic bag or something inside of it, and then get the brim of the hat to lay flat. So maybe I'll do that today, and then can work on this a little bit later, or even if it needs to dry, then I can work on the MusiKAL. But yeah, I've got, this is gonna be so cute. Let me just see. I mean, this isn't the right color, but like a little hat on a pumpkin with like little feet. It's gonna be so cute. I'm so excited. Okay, so guys, that's everything I have to share with you today. I'm really glad I sat down and filmed a little podcast. I miss connecting with you all. I'm hoping that just by having my knitting be not so many projects going on at once, I'll feel less pressure to try to like catch you up on everything. I think what happens is I get stuck and I get overwhelmed, and I feel like if I'm not going to have something for like every single segment, I shouldn't bother recording, and that's just ridiculous. You guys just are here to see what I'm working on and to connect, and yeah, so it is time for me to go get Owen. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be popping in next week again to share updates on these mystery knit-alongs, so please join me again. I don't know the exact day I'll release it, but you know, I will record after I finish Clue 3. If I get that done in a week, then I will, yeah, I'll share my progress. I think there's like 2 basic big sections to Clue 3 for the shawl. So hopefully I'll get through at least one of those 2 sections. And I'm sure I'm gonna have a finished gnome to share with you guys next week. And yeah, even if that's it, I'll just pop in and share with you guys for just a short while. So I hope those of you who are enjoying Rhinebeck, it's beautiful weather here in New York, so kind of not great sweater weather, but beautiful. So have a great time. And for those of you who are staying home like me, I hope that you're, you know, not feeling like you're missing out on too much. I've never been to Rhinebeck, even though I grew up here. October is just always such a busy month. So one of these years I will get there. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and you know, like and subscribe. There's so many videos. If you're new, you can like catch up on. But yeah, hopefully like a new kind of more chill energy will be happening here. And I just want to pop in more frequently, even if I have less to share. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you're working on. Are you participating in the Gnumpkin and Gnettle MusiKAL or the MusiKAL MusiKAL? Let me know. I want to see your projects, so let me know where I can see them, and I will see you guys next time. You can find me on Instagram, Lisa Westervelt Flute Studio, and Stop Dropping It Fiber Co. on Instagram. Yeah, I'm like out of practice. And I started a TikTok. I haven't updated it in months. I think it's just Stop Dropping Knit. I think that's it. And what else? Yeah, those are the places you can find me. Instagram and TikTok and Ravelry. Lisa Jack 78 on Ravelry. And yeah, I'll put things in the description, and I'll link my shop if you're interested in anything. I'm going to pop a coupon code right here on the screen. If any of you guys have stuck around this long, a discount code for my shop to say thank you. And have a great October. Bye-bye.